What's up, everybody? Brennan here, and today we're going to be talking about Injustice, because Injustice 2 comes out very soon, so I thought, let's make an Injustice video. So for this video, I'll be talking about all the deaths that have happened in the Injustice universe, because for those of you who only played the video game and never read the comics, you'll be very shocked to learn how many characters who die in the comics. So yeah, so we'll be talking about all the deaths from the comics and from the video game. Also, at the end of the video, I will be talking about how characters who are in Injustice 2 who should be dead, and I'll explain how they're alive. So, yeah. So yes, kick back, relax, grab some popcorn, maybe a soft drink, and maybe a collectible action figure of your favorite superhero who might be dead in this universe, and just listen and watch. So we start off our Injustice death count with year 1. Now, the Injustice comics were split into 5 years to sort of show you the big scope of this giant battle between Superman and Batman. So yeah, so we're starting off with year 1. The first casualty of the Injustice event was Jimmy Olsen, Daily Planet's photographer. While Jimmy and Lois were doing some reporter stuff, the Joker and Harley Quinn found them and kidnapped Lois. Joker shot his gun and right through Jimmy's camera, which also went right through Jimmy's head, killing Jimmy. So he was the first casualty. After that, Superman then asks Batman and the rest of the Justice League to help him find where Lois is. During this whole big worldwide search, the Flash tells Batman that he found something very interesting, which of course is the Scarecrow's dead body. Scarecrow was killed by some of Joker's toxins after assisting him in something. This then leads us to Lois Lane and her unborn child. And I think we all know how this one goes if you've played the game, of course. Joker drugged Superman with some kryptonite-laced fear toxin and make him think that Lois Lane's actually a Doomsday. Superman grabbed Doomsday and blasted off to space to try and kill him, but unfortunately he didn't realize at the last minute that it was actually Lois. Lois, of course, couldn't breathe in space, so she died up in space with her unborn child, making that 4 deaths so far. No, wait, 3 or 4? I don't know. I don't know if I should really count the unborn child, because it's unborn, so it's not really alive, but it was going to be alive, so I'll just count it as 4, so yeah. But of course, the Joker rigged Lois's heart rate to a nuclear bomb, and once her heart stopped, a bomb went off in Metropolis, killing everybody in Metropolis. Now, I will not count this as one of the deaths in the comics, because if I did, the death count would already spike to a very high count, and so I won't count the deaths there. I'll put Metropolis' death in a separate category of, like, big scope deaths, like, you know, like big cities and stuff, so yeah. But I will tell you how many people do die in Metropolis. So, in the game, and in the alternate universe, when Joker's about to blow up Metropolis, Batman says this:
"You push that button and 8 million die."
8 million people die, so there's a total of 8 million people in Metropolis, so 8 million people are dead. So, yes, moving on. But the explosion in Metropolis did bring about the death of some other characters, though. We'll later find out in year 1 that Lex Luthor did survive the explosion because he had a secret bunker that he had prepared just for this sort of occasion. But in order for him to get to that bunker in time, he hired the speedster Jesse Quick to get him there in time, which he did. But of course afterwards, Jesse Quick then tried to save as many people as she could, but then got caught in the explosion and died. But also, the Bart Allen Kid Flash, Beast Boy, and Superboy were all in Metropolis at that time getting food for the rest of the Teen Titans. Kid Flash ran right into the explosion without any time to react to it, so he died immediately. As for Superboy and Beast Boy, Superboy grabbed Beast Boy while he was in bird form, trying to protect him from the blast. Sadly, it didn't work, and Beast Boy died. And then, of course, we go to the death of the Joker. Now, of course, we all know how this death goes. After Joker blew up Metropolis, Batman arrested him and asked him where he got the nuke to blow up Metropolis. Superman came to GCPD looking for vengeance and shoved his fist right through Joker's chest, killing him. Now, in the game, they don't actually show him shoving his hand right through his chest, but in the comic, they really do show it, and it's violent as hell. Now, after the Joker's death, which is like issue 2 of the comic, I think it was, yeah, issue 2, there'll be a couple more issues later until we see the next death. And that next death is Nightwing, which of course we also knew about from the game. Superman and the Justice League go to Arkham Asylum to get rid of the villains once and for all, because they're what's making Gotham horrible. Batman and Nightwing don't like this though, so they go to guard all the villains in Arkham Asylum. During the same time, Harley Quinn, who was brought to Arkham Asylum by Green Arrow, released all the villains from their cells, and of course a big fight happened. Now during the battle, Damian Wayne was going a bit crazy on the villains and hurting them pretty badly, and Nightwing told him to stop it. Of course, he got pissed at Nightwing for telling him to do that, so he threw his baton at the back of Nightwing's head. Now, earlier in the comic, they established this thing between Nightwing and Damian. Sometimes when the two of them train, Damian will throw his baton at the back of Nightwing's head and he'll catch it in time. Unfortunately, since there were a bunch of supervillains running about, Nightwing couldn't react in time, and so the baton hit him in the head. After the baton hit him in the head, Nightwing fell over on some rubble and cracked his neck on it. This then starts a divide between Damian and Batman in the comic, where Damian feels bad of what he did, but Batman can't really forgive him, really. The next death comes in the form of Kalibak, the son of Darkseid. Kalibak is ordered by his father Darkseid to invade Earth in response to Superman's worldwide ceasefire. He goes with an army of parademons attacking Earth, but this pisses Superman off, of course. Superman and Kalibak engage in battle, which ends with Kalibak yielding. But Superman still wants him to continue the fight. So Superman continues to fight Kalibak until his final blow crushes his head, killing him. Superman then wipes out all the parademons with his heat vision. We'll put the death of the parademons with have the same category as Metropolis. The next step is Martian Manhunter. The Martian Manhunter, or John Jones, was disguised as Hawkgirl on Superman and his team to find out their secrets. But then Damian Wayne found out about the Manhunter and informed Superman. After Superman reveals Batman's identity to the world to get him to come out of hiding, the Martian Manhunter has a confrontation with Superman and the rest of the League. While talking with Superman and Wonder Woman attacks the Martian Manhunter as she's tired of him talking down to Superman. The Manhunter then shapeshifts inside Wonder Woman's body to cut off the oxygen to her brain. The only way to save Wonder Woman was for Superman to blast his heat vision at her, as heat is Martian Manhunter's weakness. He burned alive, falling out of Wonder Woman's body into the water. Followed by the Manhunter would be Captain Atom. Batman and his team went to the Fortress of Solitude to steal the strength-enhancing pills that Lex Luthor has been making for Superman. They find out that Superman has been keeping his parents here, and Superman could have taken it as an attack on his parents. Superman arrived, and Captain Atom kept him distracted. Until during the fight, Wonder Woman swung her sword at Captain Atom's neck, breaking his containment suit. You see, Captain Atom's actually pure energy. He's not an actual physical being anymore. So his suit he wears is actually a containment suit to keep all that nuclear energy inside. So after she broke the containment suit, Captain Atom took Superman and rocketed into space. With energy leaking from his body and an explosion building up, Captain Atom finally lets go and explodes, hoping that it would take out Superman. Of course, it didn't. This now leads us to the final death of the Year 1, which of course is Green Arrow, which we also knew about from the game. Captain Atom punching Superman through his fortress caused a collapse in the entrance. Green Arrow was trapped in the fortress while everyone else got out. Superman then returns to the fortress, finding Green Arrow there. Green Arrow fired an arrow at Superman, which ricocheted off him and into John Kent. Pissing Superman off, Green Arrow knows it's the end of him now, so he fires one more arrow outside right before Superman beats him to death, while his parents watch in horror. The arrow he fired had one of the strength-enhancing pills on it, which managed to reach Batman. Batman was now able to reproduce the strength-enhancing pills, at great cost though. And that brings us to the end of Year 1 and now into Year 2. And if you thought Year 1 was crazy, well, Year 2 is even crazier. The whole premise of Year 2 was a big Lantern war between the Green Lantern Corps and Superman. The first casualty of Year 2 was Kyle Rayner, the Green Lantern. As Kyle was flying back to Earth, which he has been on Earth for quite some time, and now, Sinestro and some of his Sinestro Corps members ambushed him. Sinestro tells Kyle there's a war coming to Earth, and he sees future allies there, of course being the Justice League. He tells Kyle that there's a war coming to Earth, and he sees future allies, of course being Superman and the Justice League. He tells him he doesn't want him getting in the way though, so he cuts off Kyle's ring finger, making him lose his suit, and also making him lose the ability to breathe in space. To make sure he dies though, the other members of the Corps rip off his limbs. After this, the Green Lantern known as Chip dies. Never heard of Chip? Well, I didn't expect so. He's kind of lesser known. When Kilowog led a Green Lantern strike force to Earth to stop Superman, Chip uses his brain to attack Superman in his brain, which caused him to collapse. As he puts it, I'm thinking so small I'm stopping the synapses in your brain. Sinestro, who came to the Justice League earlier, was in a holding cell because they didn't trust him yet. Lex sees that Superman is losing, so he frees Sinestro and said he can go down to the fight. He shoots Chip in the head with the energy blast. Despero is the next kill on this list. Despero is his Green Lantern and villainous power control mind and stuff like that, so yeah. For Sinestro to get in good graces with Superman and the Justice League, Sinestro's core brings Despero to Earth to make it look like an attack. Sinestro then tackles him and using his ring and to force Despero's hands around Sinestro's neck, then snapping Despero's neck with his ring. All while Hal Jordan and John Stewart watched Sinestro doing this. Sinestro said it was the only way and they were all fine with it. Commissioner Gordon is the next death on this list. Yes, the great Commissioner Gordon died. It's awful. Gordon had been working alongside Barbara and Batman's team for quite some time now in Year 2. With the help of Lex, who's Batman's double agent, Gordon gets on board the Watchtower and stops Cyborg from tracking down Batman in Oracle's base. He managed to stop Cyborg but started to die. You see, earlier in Year 2, Gordon had learned he had cancer, and while the cancer wasn't making a big effect on him yet, the strength-enhancing pills were speeding up his cancer. The last one he took to stop Cyborg finally did. He calls Barbara and Batman to say goodbye and then dies. He was never seen from again. While that was happening, the Green Lantern Corps was at war with the Sinestro Corps and the Justice League. During the fight, John Stewart, who was on Superman's side, was stabbed by Sinestro. Sinestro brought John's body into Hal just in time to see him die. Sinestro tricks Hal in telling him that Guy Gardner did this, which then brings us to the next death, Guy Gardner. Hal, thinking that Guy killed John, Hal pummels Guy until he finally rips off his arm that had his ring. He starts falling into Earth and dies. After Guy is killed, Black Canary gets into a fight with Superman and shoots him with a kryptonite bullet. and she almost wins until a Yellow Lantern ring flies on the Superman, giving him the power of fear. Using the ring, he pulls out the kryptonite bullet, and then he visions Black Canary in the stomach, leaving her to bleed out. But we'll come back to her in a second. Gambit, one of the Guardians of Oa, and Mogo, the living planet Green Lantern, are the next to die. After Superman acquires the yellow ring, and Superman grabs Gambit and rockets towards Mogo, smashing Gambit on Mogo's surface. He shoves both of them into the sun. The giant battle finally ended with all the Green Lanterns and all the Sinestro Corps members dead. Once again, we'll put them in the same category as Metropolis and the Parademons. Now, you must be asking yourself now, is Black Canary dead? Well, she almost died. Dr. Fate saw Black Canary dying and said very nicely, F Fate. He heals her wound and takes Black Canary and her son Connor Hawk to an alternate universe that has Oliver Queen. In that alternate universe, Oliver Queen's Diana Lance, the Black Canary, died 5 years prior. He brought her to this universe that had both Oliver Queen and Diana Lance can have a fresh new start, and they both end up living happily ever after. So Black Canary's alive in an alternate universe, but to Batman and the rest of his team, she's dead, but I won't count her as a death. This is also how Black Canary and Green Arrow are alive in Injustice 2 right now. Dr. Fate came to tell Black Canary that as Superman has been defeated, then she can move back to her old universe, and now Oliver Queen comes with her. We're now moving into Year 3, but before we actually do fully move into Year 3, we have to cover the Year 3 Annual. The Annual explains how Constantine got involved in the Year 3 battle, but we're just talking about a character's death. So the next character who died was Dr. Occult. Never heard of him? Well, I never have either. I don't know anything about Dr. Occult. All I know is from the Annual is that Dr. Occult is actually two people in one. Dr. Occult and Rose. So it's sort of like a Firestorm situation, except not exactly like a Firestorm situation where like, they can both be and have the body. So, like, maybe Dr. Occult's body can be outside, or maybe Rowan's body can be outside, something like that. So, yeah. Anyways, Batman hired them to neutralize Wonder Woman and Raven. Dr. Occult goes after Raven first, but then Raven attacks them with Hellfire, and it burns Dr. Occult alive. Constantine, who's been trailing them, helps him take down Raven. And then Rose goes to Themyscira to use a knockout gas on Wonder Woman, which will keep her asleep for a while. Rose can't survive without Dr. Occult, and she can't let them know that she was on Themyscira. She teleports to a random island and dies there. Before she dies, though, she communicates with Batman to tell him that you can't trust Constantine before she dies before she can finish the sentence. Alright, now we're in Year 3. The first half of Year 3 is Constantine's wife. Now, I'm not sure what her name was, I couldn't definitely find it, but Constantine's wife is the first casualty of Year 3. During the Lantern battle, which took place back in Year 2, a Green Lantern landed on Constantine's wife's house, killing her. So really that technically takes place back in Year 2, but still, we learn about it here. Constantine off, because now his daughter Rose doesn't have her mother now. As time goes on, Batman and Batman's team, Constantine, and some other magical users hide out in Jason Blood, aka Etrick the Demon's house. But Harvey Bullock wants out of this because it's getting a bit crazy now with all the magic stuff. But he's convinced to stay by Detective Chimp, telling him that staying will help honor Commissioner Gordon's memory. But as Harvey was leaving, he opened the door, which is a bad thing, because now that the door is open, the house is not protected by its magical shield. Harvey tried closing the door, but a powerful force blasts open the doors, reducing Harvey to a skeleton. Jason Blood ran over to try and shut the door too, but was caught in the blast and was turned into a skeleton like Harvey. Ragman, another magical user, is next to die. Constantine has a plan to lure Superman out of hiding. He lets Raven send out a message to Superman to let him know where she is. Once he finds Raven, he discovers it's not Raven at all, but it's actually Ragman. You see, Ragman's rags have the power to trap souls. The souls will be trapped in the rags for years until they pay off their sins. But Superman did kill Mogo, the living planet, so he's going to have a lot of years to go through. But Superman did manage to contact Shazam for help. Shazam freed Superman, but then the Spectre came in and stripped Ragman of his rags and killed him. Superman and the others take Constantine, but then Deadman comes in possessing Shazam, freeing Constantine. While Deadman's in Shazam's body right now, he's also sharing a mind with Billy Batson right now. He asks Billy why the Spectre's involved with all this. But then Shazam reverts back to Billy, and the Spectre realizes that there are 3 minds in the body, so he pulls Deadman out of Billy. He then uses his sword of vengeance to cut Deadman in half, and his essence starts leaking out of him. After making Nightwing the new Deadman, Deadman fades off to the afterlife. The Phantom Stranger, who's the opposite of the Spectre basically, is the next to die. The Stranger takes Spectre to space and wants to know why he's working with Superman. It's not like him. During their conversation, the Spectre senses that Superman is under attack by Etrigan and tries leaving, but the Phantom Stranger won't let him, so Spectre stabs him, killing him. Clara and the Witch Boy is next to die. When Spectre led Superman and his regime to Batman and his team's hideout in the House of Mystery, they engage in battle. During the battle, Sinestro blasts Clarion on killing him. Remember how I mentioned Detective Chimp not that long ago? Well, he's about to die. Chimp almost died earlier in Jason Blood's home as he was caught in the blast of Bulk and Blood. But Chimp survived for now. After Clarion died, Chimp reveals that Clarion conjured him in the first place. Without Clarion, Chimp will cease to exist. He then vanishes, which makes Harley sad as she became attached to him. When Superman and Batman's teams exit out of the House of Mystery after Trigon and Mr. Mxyzptlk get into a fight, also let you know Mr. Mxyzptlk was revealed to be the Spectre all along. The teams start fighting again. Batwoman and the Huntress get into a fight with Wonder Woman until Wonder Woman lassos Huntress's neck and breaks it by accident. Swamp Thing, who's on Superman's side, finally joined the fight, but is sadly going to be the next to die. Trigon was done playing games and was going to bring the entire outside of the House of Mystery down to hell. So Constantine frees Flash, who was captured back in year 2. Flash was outside, bringing all of Batman's teams to the House of Mystery and bringing all of Superman's team in the House of Secrets. But Flash doesn't get to Swamp Thing in time, and Swamp Thing is pulled down to hell and he dies. Swamp Thing was the last casualty of year 3, which, as you could tell, a lot of people died during year 3. We now move on to year 4, which I'd say is the least violent year out of all the years. Well, I shouldn't say that, because this year involves the demigods, so a lot of destruction happens, so it's not the least violent. I should have said it has the least amount of casualties in this year, so yeah. Anyways, the first casualty of this year is Renee Montoya, a police officer from GCPD. Montoya was furious after the death of her wife Huntress, so she goes to do battle with Superman in a rage. She takes as many strength-granting pills as she can to fight him, but they were putting a great strain on her heart, and Superman asked her to stop, but it was too late. Bruce then shows up at the right time just to see Montoya die. Of course, like I said, year 4 heavily involved the demigods versus Superman's team. The Amazon and gods got involved in the battle because they weren't liking that Superman and his friends were trying to take full control of the world. So they get into battle with Batman's team on the Amazon side. At some point, all the gods came out of the battle like Hercules. Hercules had sucker punched Superman into space. After Shazam starts knocking around Hercules, Superman comes rocketing to Earth right at Hercules and kills him. Yeah, you thought this comic was insane already? Well, it just got even more crazy. Superman killed a demigod. That's OP. The next step on this list is Artemis. And for those of you Young Justice fans, no, not that Artemis, the Amazon Artemis. Both Batman and Superman's teams put their fight on hold to stop Zeus and the gods because Zeus had a bit of a different plan for Earth. During all this, Hera was going to kill Queen Hippolyta, Wonder Woman's mother, but Artemis pushed her out of the way and took the blast and dies. And that's it for the deaths in year 4. Yeah, like I said, very few casualties in year 4. We are now on year 5, the final year of the Injustice comics before the actual game came out. But before we have to go to year 5, we have to go to year 5 Prelude first. The Prelude follows Plastic Man as he goes to Superman's underwater prison to free his son and all the other prisoners. Kilowog's Green Lantern Strike Force from year 2 was also being kept there. So Plastic Man stole the rings back from Superman and gave them all back to the Lanterns. But before Kilowog can put his ring on, Sinestro fires a beam through the glass dome and through Kilowog's chest, killing him. After that, we now enter year 5, which had a massive amount of death count in this year. Like, a crazy amount of people died in this year. The first of the deaths is the Parasite, one of the villains who broke out from the underwater prison. Hal-Jordan and Cyborg try fighting Parasite without any success, but Superman comes in grabbing Parasite and throwing him into the sun. Wonder Wizard and Heatwave are the next 2 deaths in the comic. The Rogues have joined Batman's team. Since they have a code of no killing, Batman can trust them about, of course, killing people. The members of the Rogues were Heatwave, Mirror Master, Golden Glider, and Weather Wizard. While they were working on an assignment that Batman gave them, a clone of Superman that Luthor secretly made escaped and came to fight them because he saw them on the news. Weather Wizard called him the fake Superman, which was a big mistake and enraged him. Using his heat vision, he burned Heatwave and Weather Wizard alive. Golden Glider used her powers of phasing on herself and Mirror Master to survive. Jason Barr was a detective at GCPD and started an anti-regime group called the Joker Underground. Batwoman and Harley asked for him and his group to come work for Batman and to not invoke Joker's name. After they leave, Superman came in and roasting everyone alive with his heat vision for invoking Joker's name. Trickster, another member of the Rogues who was next to die. The Trickster is a member of the Rogues, but I don't think he was a member of the Rogues at this point in time because he wasn't working for Batman. The Trickster had tricked Bizarro that he is his friend, but he doesn't remember. At one point while they're flying together, Bizarro needs to sneeze, so he covers his mouth with both his hands, but accidentally drops Trickster, killing him. This is kind of Trickster's fault that he died, because earlier in the Year 5 comic, Bizarro had to sneeze, and, well, since he's a clone of Superman, his sneeze is very powerful. So Trickster tells Bizarro you need to use both your hands to cover your mouth when you sneeze. So, irony. Sadly though, Bizarro wouldn't last very long after that, as he's the next one to die. Luthor made Bizarro go to the Fortress of Solitude. There was Doomsday, who was under Luthor's control. Superman got involved briefly in the fight when Luthor made Doomsday attack Superman too. Luthor told Superman that if he tried attacking Bizarro, it might confuse the program on Doomsday and make him attack him. Of course, that's a lie, and Luthor just had Doomsday attack Superman, so yeah, not important. And near the end of the fight, Doomsday cracked Bizarro's neck. This made Superman mad because he wanted him alive, but Luthor did this to cover his tracks in case Superman figures out that he made the clone. And now the next death on this list is quite a heart-tugging death, honestly. Honestly, it's one of those deaths in the comics that makes you go, oh my god, they actually went there. And the death is Alfred Pennyworth. Yes, they killed Alfred. When Superman visits Alfred asking him where Batman is, Alfred refuses to tell him. Of course, Alfred does know where he is and does stay in contact, but of course won't tell Superman that. This makes Superman mad and he wants to kill Alfred for this, but he has a different idea. So Superman secretly frees Mr. Zsasz from prison in order to help him find Batman's location. He sends Zsasz to the Batcave to get the information out of Alfred. Alfred, of course, refuses to tell Zsasz where Batman is, so they both get into a little bit of a fight. Alfred does do pretty well in the fight, but of course, in the end, he sadly loses. What's even more sad about this episode is that it's also technically Alfred's birthday, sort of, not really. Let me explain, okay? What they established that in Injustice is that Alfred has this little tradition with Bruce and the rest of the Bat family. He's never told anybody where his actual birthday is. So the Bat family was just left to guess of when his birthday is. And they guessed that this day is his birthday. So he technically dies on his birthday, but not really. I mean, Bruce Wayne has his birth certificate and knows when his birthday is. And Alfred knows he has that. But they never wanted to tell anybody about ruining the tradition and stuff. So yeah, but still, this is a pretty heart-wrenching moment. They killed Alfred. How dare they? Superman never confesses to sending Zsasz to the Batcave. In fact, we don't even know if killing Alfred was Superman's intention. For all we know, Superman may have just wanted Zsasz to interrogate him or take him hostage, but nope. Zsasz went straight for the killing. But still, even if that wasn't his intention, it's still Superman's fault. He sent this psychopath to the Batcave and killed a beloved member of the DC Universe. How dare you, Superman? How dare you? At this point in the comics, Superman and the Justice League have been listing supervillains on the team. Two of those supervillains are King Shark and Girder. They were hired by Superman to arrest Iris West for her rebellion against Superman. Flash, feeling guilty, tries saving them, but accidentally impales King Shark through the mouth with a broom, which just makes Iris disappointed. After King Shark dies, Hawkman dies. Yeah, we had Hawkwoman, now we have Hawkman. Batman asks Hawkman for his help in his plans to kidnap Cyborg and get some information out of him. Hawkman's part in the plan was to distract Superman. Earlier, he required some kryptonite and made a mace out of it. Superman is beaten badly until the League disarms Hawkman. Although Superman is weakened from the kryptonite, he fights Hawkman and then beats him to death. You wonder how Hawkgirl's still on his side. But guess what, guys? If you hated Zsasz for killing Alfred, guess what? He's next to die. Zsasz was murdered in the regime's prison by Damian. He had shut off the cameras in his cell and demanded to know which cut was from Alfred. Assuming he did get the information he wanted out of Zsasz, he then killed him. Metamorpho, the next on the kill list. Despero was hired by Batman and Luthor to get schematics out of the Mother Box. Despero takes this job and goes off to get them, but finds himself in a battle with Metamorpho, who's guarding them. Despero fires metal balls at his head, but then he turns himself into gas so they go through him. But the metal balls were remote controlled to bury themselves in the back of his skull. He died. And finally, the last death in Year 5 was Batwoman. When Superman finds out Batman's secret base, he comes knocking. Superman shot his heat vision and blindly into the base and destroyed the control panel that they were going to use to bring the alternate Justice League here. Forced to operate manually, Batwoman realizes the only way the teleporter will work is to bypass the damaged console and sacrifice herself in the energy field. Superman finds them both and opens fire on Batwoman with his heat vision and disintegrating her, but they did manage to teleport the League here though. And now we are in the Injustice game itself, and of course in the Injustice game, very few people actually die, like a total of 2 people. That's one less than Year 3 did. No, Year 4, not Year 3, Year 4. So of course, if you play the game, which probably most of you have, you know who dies in the game. Lex Luthor is the first one to die. After going for some of Superman's regime members, Lex is about to use his Batman's kryptonite weapon to neutralize Superman. Sadly though, Shazam blasts him in the back of electricity, stopping him. Superman then lands on the ground, grabbing Lex Luthor and breaking his neck. With now Shazam's death following immediately afterwards. After hearing what everyone thinks of him, Superman decides they're going to level both Metropolis and Gotham for the set an example to the rest of the world, and also invade the other Justice League's Earth. He says Lois would not want this, which of course pisses Superman off. Superman grabs his neck, freezes his mouth shut so he can't revert back to Billy Batson, and then blasts his heat vision right through his head, killing him. This scene right here shows this Superman has no remorse, no mercy left. He killed a child. And that's really it for the deaths in the game. Of course, like I said, only 2 people died in the game. And of course, Batman's Insurgency and the Justice League, of course, beat Superman and all's well that ends well, right? Yeah. At the time of me making this video, the Injustice 2 comic has been going on for a while. There are 4 issues out right now, so I will mention the deaths of characters who have been in Injustice 2 comics so far. The first 2 to die are Amanda Waller and Rick Flag. After the character Harley went for the Suicide Squad, she said this was a big mistake. But she's friends with Batman now, and when Batman learns that you kidnapped me, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Batman does show up, but a different Batman shows up. A Batman with red eyes and guns. He said he's gonna take over Amanda Waller's operation now, and then shoots both Waller and Flag in the head. Also, in case you're wondering what the Suicide Squad lineup is in the comics, I'll let you know. The lineup consists of Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Captain Cold, Katana, Calderman, Killer Moth, Clock King, El Diablo, Polka Dot Man, Man-Bat, and Orca and Killer Croc. So when this Batman tells the squad that they work for him now, he says he won't need all of them. So taking the pad that controls the bombs in their necks, he blows up the heads of Clock King, Killer Moth, Magpie, and Polka Dot Man. He was also going to blow up Calderman's head, but his kind of malfunctioned, so he managed to survive. And that's everybody who died finally. And it's been ridiculous trying to get this done, really. I bet by the time it comes out, Injustice 2 might actually already be out by now, but it's my fault for being such a horrible person with rushing things and just wasting time, so yeah, but it's out now, so yeah. Of course, like I said, I will be mentioning how some characters in Injustice 2 are alive now, even though they should be dead currently. Alright, so, I already talked about how Black Canary and Green Arrow are alive in the game. Of course, like I said, Black Canary never died, she was in an alternate universe, and the Green Arrow that's in Injustice 2 is actually the Green Arrow from that alternate universe she moved to, so, and that's how they're alive. But what about other characters like Scarecrow? Like, he dies in the first year. Well, I'm assuming that that's a different Scarecrow, because, like, in year 5, Damian Wayne crashed into a secret hideout of some of Batman's villains, and one of them is Scarecrow. And that Scarecrow looks different from the Scarecrow we see in year 1. So I'm assuming that this Scarecrow in Injustice 2 might just be a successor, maybe, so yeah. And then there's also Swamp Thing. Now, we're not exactly sure if he died, though, in year 3. I'm just saying he died, but maybe he didn't, we don't know that. I mean, on his bio on the official Injustice 2 website, it says he will return. So, maybe it is the Swamp Thing from the Injustice comics is returning, or maybe it's the second Swamp Thing from the comics. There was a second Swamp Thing. I forget his name right now, but there was a second Swamp Thing, so maybe it might be him, or maybe it's just the original Swamp Thing returning. And then as for the Joker, I have no idea how to explain that. I mean, like, maybe his bio on the website explains something, but I don't want to read it in case of spoilers, so I don't know why he's alive. I can't really say how he's alive. I can't make it a theory. So, there you go. But thank you for watching. I hope this video gave you all some little insight into all the characters who are dead in the Injustice universe. And tell me, are you going to pick up Injustice 2, and which character are you most excited to play as? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all later. Bye.